Hi, Filmatics! Welcome back to part 2 with actor, producer, director Justin Nesbitt. He produced over 30 feature films, and we were talking about his film, The USS Indianapolis, starring Nicolas Cage. So let's welcome Justin Nesbitt back to the show. Hey, Justin!
How's it going?
Hi!
Happy to still be here. We made it to part 2. It's good.
Yes, we made it to part 2.
I feel honored and privileged and humbled that I get a part 2, you know?
Yeah.
You could have been like, he's not that interesting, he gets a part 1,
No, it's just such a special treat to get actors on the show.
He's a part 1 kind of guy. I don't see him as a part 2 guy. my best Larry David impersonation. I don't see him as a part 2 guy. One's good enough with this guy.
Oh, my actor that's an Academy-nominated film Monster, who started out. That's your first film. Like, how do you top that?
That was the first set I was ever on.
Patty
Jenkins, the first set, first experience, and that's what I caught, as they call it, the film bug. And I was like, I got to do more of this. This is kind of cool,
Yeah, so from Maryland and Florida to Los Angeles. And so you're on this really cool set, the U.S. Indianapolis, with Nicolas Cage, who said is very humble and a really amazing, great lead actor that's really warm and welcoming to the whole crew. How many people were on that set? You had a lot, right?
Yeah, they had, so it was interesting. When we did the water scenes, they had a barge. This was filmed in Mobile, Alabama, and on the water, at Orange Beach, Alabama, which borders Florida, Pensacola, Florida. Then it goes Orange Beach, and Orange Beach is off the Gulf of Mexico. So they had a barge they got from New Orleans to come out, and it's like this platform barge, and they put the cameras on and everything, and then us sailors, we all played sailors, we got in the water, and they had the rafts and stuff. They had lifeguards. I mean, I want to say at least 120 people a day. Not kidding.
Wow.
Because we had to have the lifeguards. You had to have safety lifeguards. I had a scene where I got sick and I had to throw up. And they had to have this lifeguard bring the bag of fake vomit to me. It was like apples and stuff, like all mashed up. And they had to reload it because I had to keep doing takes of me vomiting. And I remember, I'll never forget, like the dude on the jet ski comes and brings me the little bag. So they had jet skis, guys on jet skis. Our transpo were boat drivers, like local guys with boats that could drive. And they'd transport us from the barge back to base camp, which was on land. So it was a wild experience because they almost went with a studio, but something happened last minute and they had to do it on a budget. So they figured out how to do it in the actual ocean, which is very interesting because we were literally in the shark's house while we're filming a shark movie about being attacked by sharks. That was a true story, and we're literally in the Gulf of Mexico in Orange Beach, Alabama, with the shark. I'm like, and I heard a rumor from actors talk and background actors talk, and I was like, "There's a net around us." I heard there's a net. Yeah, there's a net. Like, we're not going to get hurt. We're in the water. They're like, no, they have an insurance policy out on us. Like, in case one of us, I'm like, that would be ironic if I get attacked by a shark in a movie where I get attacked by a shark. Like, that's just, I almost wanted to happen just for the headline alone. The newspaper would have been amazing. Guy in shark movie gets eaten by shark. It's like funny. But anyway, we were all safe. They did have a lot of lifeguards, a lot of safety, and they do a sonar. How they keep the sharks away is they do this sonar noise that irritates the sharks. So they just get aggravated and they stay far away from you. So they release those sonars. That's what I found out later. I didn't know at the time. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to be an actor. I'm going to go for it. I'm going to be in character. I'm not going to try to show people because also you are a little afraid even in the character, because the character is a 20-year-old sailor in the middle of a war and his boat just got torpedoed. So even if I showed real fear, it became like method acting because I was actually kind of a little. One night we filmed at night. My character was at night in the water. I'm like, man, my character did have to be at night in the water. And we were in Wolf Bay, this other side of the beach, and I heard there was bull sharks there. Like, bull sharks are the worst. They don't bite you. They like annihilate you to where you disintegrate. Like, so it's like,
oh wow.
I was a little nervous in that scene. So when it didn't make the cut of the movie, I wish it did, but I had to get emotional. Because I had to realize this is my first night at sea. I miss my mom. I even said, like, I miss my mom. I miss my family. But like those tears, I don't know, they could have been real. Just of like, man, I'm in at nighttime, I can't see anything. And we had Angelina Jolie's movie she directed, Unbroken. We had her sharks. If you've seen the movie Unbroken, our mechanical sharks were those sharks. And I always had to count. I said, how many mechanical sharks in the water, Mr. Director? And Mario Van Peebles was the director. He was a good friend of mine, my buddy. And he's like, he's like, there's two. I was like, okay, cool. Two sharks. All right, cool. All right. I think I asked him or somebody, I was like, how many sharks? How many mechanical? How many are fake? Two, because they swim real. So I'm like, if I see more than two, there's a problem. We need to get out of the water. So I was always conscious of like, okay, the two fake sharks in the water. If I see a third one, we're in trouble,
Oh wow!
So that was
Did
fun.
you see the sharks, or that sonar equipment actually helped to keep
Yeah,
those?
from what I understand, it helped. And then they had a couple lifeguards on the crew, and they would do they call it like floor scans. They had these special goggles, and they'd scan. They do bottom scans. And, they have sonar. We were pretty safe. Like they had sonar, they had everything to protect us, but still there's an element of like, wow, we're filming a shark movie in the actual ocean. Like this is crazy.
Oh,
But it
wow.
actually made it more fun. So when we did all our water work was done and they went to the sound stage, because they did do green screen for when the ship breaks. They did green screen for that, and they were in the fake water. I didn't make it. My character didn't survive to do that one part, that scene, unfortunately. But they gave us a big dinner party after we did our week one of water work, the hard water work, where we're in real conditions in the ocean. I think the producers were like, you know what, you guys deserve a meal after that week. Like,
oh, nice.
you put yourself out there, you did a good job, you're in the middle of the water. Like, they thanked us with a nice dinner on the beach, which was fine.
Nice filet mignon and clam bake.
Yeah, no, they give us a nice beach dinner, which was really cool.
Awesome. That sounds so fun. And then so from there, that film, do you want to talk about your film coming up that you just produced?
Yeah, so we filmed this. It went relatively quickly. We filmed it last October. It's coming out Thanksgiving, from what I understand. It's Samuel Goldwyn Films, SGF, is releasing it. We're doing a special screening at the Lamel NoHo Theater in North Hollywood this Thursday night, 7:30. It's just more cast and crew and stuff, but it's not like the official premiere. So we're going to do that screening. I'm looking forward to seeing it. I saw some cuts. The visual effects look good, but it's an action film called As Good as Dead. It stars Michael Jai White and Tom Berenger, who's a legend, brilliant. I mean, Platoon, need I say more? Hatfields and McCoy's brilliant. Major League. I mean, list goes on with Tom, and Tom's just been in some epic films and shows. And then Michael Copon's in it. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, Michael Copon, who I mentioned earlier in the interview, was my roommate when he got me to move to Hollywood. He convinced me, and he was staying with me in Orlando. Full circle, he's in my movie, then I help him when he directs his movie. So it's like as you say, I like your word, Marilyn, synergy. The synergy. We had synergy recently, and he plays in this film as well. As Good as Dead. It's an action film, and Luca Oriel plays the kid. It's kind of like Karate Kid. It's about a kid in Mexico. His brother, he's trying to do the right thing. His brother's in a gang there. He's trying to be the cool younger brother and be a younger brother to him, but then the gang members keep messing with him. He wants to learn how to fight, so he starts training, and fighting and stuff. And Michael Jai White's character is an American who's living there, and he spots, the kid spots Michael training in his backyard, and then finds out that Michael's like well-connected CIA, guy. And starts training with him, and Michael trains him to fight so he doesn't have to join the gangs and he can defend himself from them. And then he actually competes for fighting and stuff. So it's a cool story. I call it like Karate Kid in Mexico, but with more action. There's a lot more action in this than there was in Karate Kid, because there's like a gang element, then there's an FBI element, and then there's a military element. So it gets kind of crazy, but it's definitely a thrill ride with big twists. There's some big twists there, and I won't give them away, but check it out. As Dead, Michael Jai White, Tom Berenger, Michael Copon. Samuel Goldwyn Films is releasing this Thanksgiving.
So that's called As Good as Dead.
Yeah.
But hopefully
sounds
everyone survives.
Sounds like a Clint Eastwood title, right?
Yeah. Go ahead, make my day. Oh wow.
Yeah, there you
So
go.
that's amazing. And
Yeah.
so that's your most recent one you produced. Who's the director of that again?
That's my partner, Arliss Frazier. We've done over 20 films together. He's the one, if you remember the story of the CNN building, he's the guy that put the computer on my desk and gave me an office. So he's a writer, director, and he's directed, I don't know, I want to say Frazier's directed over 15 films, and maybe you'll have him on the podcast so he can clarify that. I think he's over 15 films directed, features.
We'd love
and
to.
he did 2 with Andy Garcia. He's done done some great work, and I was a part of all of them because he was the first. Like we have an unwritten partnership that's just like a friendship partnership. I consider him a mentor, a friend. He got me in the business, so I'm forever indebted to him, and he's kept me in the business. So I make sure he gets nice Christmas gifts. So.
Oh, nice. Yeah. So As Good as Dead with Tom Berenger and all you have so many amazing. Did you ever work with Tom Berenger or
So I acted with Tom Berenger actually before I did this movie. We did a movie in 2016 called Cops and Robbers. It's out now. For all your listeners, that you can stream it now. I think Amazon Prime. It's everywhere. iTunes, all of that. Apple TV. It's called Cops and Robbers. It's Michael Jai White, Rampage Quentin Jackson, and Tom Berenger plays my boss. I play one of the detectives. It was great working with Tom because we had a scene that's difficult with 5 actors. Coverage is difficult, but he taught me. He goes, if your scene has more than 4 actors, he's like, we need to rehearse this like a play. So he went into his trailer. He's a really sweet guy, and he goes, all right, we're going to rehearse this like a play. So we all get in rehearsals with him, all us actors, is me, Randy, Wayne, God, what's her name? Victoria. She's married to that country singer. Anyway, the name will come to me. But it was like 4 of us, and we had to do this back and forth. And Tom rehearsed us like a theater. He's like, you got to think back to your theater days now, because there's 5 of us, and they're going to keep it wide and go on our close-ups. We got to make sure this scene is in rhythm. And I had a really good time. I learned a lot from him. I've learned from some of the greats, and I've been very, very blessed to work with a lot of the greats and learn. So like I learned some editing stuff from Andy. He came in the editorial room, Andy Garcia. I learned a lot of good stuff from Tom Berenger. I learned from Nick Cage, just watching him and his process. And I've been very blessed to see some of the greats. I've been directed by some of the greats, Mario Van Peebles, and, who's also just a stand-up guy. Like I consider him a family friend, a good friend, and we hang out all the time. And, he's just a cool guy. And you learn so much working with Mario and all these guys because they've just been doing it so long. And it's fun to see them play, as we say in the business.
amazing? Like, what was your favorite acting roles that you've done?
USS Indianapolis. I can't. Go on that because let me tell you why. They did a special premiere. I think the mayor put it on in Mobile, Alabama, where we filmed it. City of Mobile was so sweet to us, and I got to meet some of the survivors. And really, the veterans were so appreciated that we kept their story alive because it's not in the history books. It's but it should be. It's the largest naval disaster. So we gave their story life and what they went through life. And the victims' children were there. And the survivor veterans that survived the shark attacks and stuff, their kids were there. They were thankful. Their kids were there. And I got to sit next to, this is interesting, at the premiere. They put on a dinner for us prior, and I got to sit next to Captain McVeigh's sister, who's the captain in the story that Nicolas Cage plays, and the Japanese boat captain's granddaughter at the same table. Enemies in a big World War II. Her grandfather shot down her brother's boat like crazy. But and they all live in the States now, which is even crazier. But it shows that we can all eat and come together after something like that, and that peace should always be the first option is peace. Because years later, it almost is silly to look at what happened in that war and what happened with these 2 families, and for them to sit in Alabama together and eat dinner and be cordial and keep this story alive. It was and just the press we did, and even executive producer Richard Rionda Del Castro wrote me. He said, I'm really proud of what you did and what you helped us with this film. And you should be proud for your country that you accomplished this film and that you're a part of this film. And I really appreciate all the support, an actor, you doing this. And look, I'm not the biggest role in the movie, but I have a pretty interesting character named Lindy in it. And I have a big scene with the shark. I have the biggest shark scene in the movie, so that's cool. And that shark scene is actually on YouTube. It's funny. During Shark Week, I just kind of put it out there, like, haha, I'll put the shark scene out during Shark Week, and it went viral. Like, I think I got like 250,000 views and comments, and like it was crazy.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, I did have a prominent part as far as shark scenes go. You know, like I said, I'm not the lead. Matt Lanner is it's more about Matt Lanner's character, who was great to work with. And his fun fact, when I got there with Matt, he said his grandfather was on the boat. His great grandfather was either his grandfather or great grandfather. But Matt Lanner, who's on a bunch of shows and done a bunch, he was 90210 on the revamp. He pursued this project from the beginning because his grandfather passed away after he found out he booked the role or something like that. And Matt can correct the factual stuff. I remember hearing from something like that. So that was interesting. And his dad was really sweet. Matt's dad, we signed a thing with his grandfather on the ship and his photo and some book about the Indianapolis. So that was like, the movie within a movie, an art, imitating life is like the grandson of one of the survivors is an actor that's the lead in the movie, as a successful actor. And that was crazy to me too. There's so many intricate things that happened on that film that I don't know if I'll ever do a film with that type of I love everything I work on, but there's something about that because it was so historical, and and film is preserving a story and what these men went through, and it shows the value of film. And film will show you things that you didn't know about, that the history books didn't. Like I think of the one about the African American ladies that ran NASA, that we wouldn't have known. It's Hidden Figures. Like, we wouldn't have known that. So I didn't know that story, because they pick and choose what goes in our history books in this country. And it's great that film gets the stories. The filmmakers get those stories that we didn't get to see, like USS Indianapolis and Hidden Figures and Green Book. Green Book who won a bunch of Oscars. So, being a part of that, I mean, was just, I could have quit. I could have never done another movie, and I would have been completely satisfied in life. Like, it just was like such a cool experience. And yeah, I can't speak more of it. Like, it's hard for me to say, oh, I have another favorite film, but that was pretty important to me.
Yeah, and what about, you've directed some films too, right?
So, interesting enough, so my directing debut was during the pandemic, because I can't just sit still and not create something. We're in quarantine, and I kind of threw it out there, like, what if I did a movie about like an office Zoom call during the pandemic, and you witness a girl getting like attacked on it. One of your coworkers is getting attacked. And there were so many things going on with George Floyd, all kinds of stuff, riots. So just kind of, I put it out there. My manager is Liz Fuller at Citizen Skull Productions. And two of our actors, one guy's a really good writer, Joseph Cannon, who wrote a great script that we did. I said, let's not write a whole script. Let's improv a lot of it, because it's Zoom. I want it to feel natural and not so scripted. And he wrote me, he said, I'm down. And then Tristan Cunningham, another great actress, is like, I'm down. And she had gotten like a grant to do something through her. So I forget what the grant was for. I think Black Filmmaker Grant Foundation, something like that. I don't know the exact name, but she's like, cool, let's do it. And I got Mario Van Peebles' son, Mikhailo, edited it. I didn't know how it would cut. So we did 1 day of rehearsals on Zoom. I said, then we recorded the second day. I said, no rehearsal. We did 2 takes. I knew I could do 2 takes, because on Zoom, as you know, when you're not talking, it's a wide grid. You see everybody. When the person's talking, the camera angle isolates. I said, so we can't step over each other. That's why I knew we needed to be scripted somewhat, because you can't step over each other's lines. But I told people, if the curtain falls in the back and your dog jumps in front of the camera, let it go. I want it to feel real. And it's called Zoom.mov. Your listeners can stream it on Amazon Prime Video. It's an Amazon Prime Video exclusive. Like, it's only on Amazon Prime Video. You can stream it and watch it now. Watch it tonight. It's 70 minutes. It's the minimum that a feature can be. It is the first movie ever 100% made on Zoom. First Zoom movie ever, feature film. And we made sure, we got that 70 minutes to be considered a feature film because somebody had some short film they did on Zoom, but we were the first feature, which is crazy to think about. And we got a little press on it, and it's about a leaked Zoom call that the police, for some reason, it was found on a police server, and they don't want you to watch it because amongst all the riots and stuff, this girl happens to be African American. She's attacked on it. Who saw it? Who didn't? Why don't they want you to see it? Are they afraid of more riots? So we call it Zoom.mov. So it's like a found footage movie like Blair Witch, where it's like it appears like it's just this leaked Zoom call, office call that everybody gets to see. And everybody was brilliant. I mean, my actors were great. And directing on Zoom was fun because you can write little notes. Hey, do that. Like I was directing on Zoom, but we did a really solid rehearsal. And I just wanted to feel real and normal. I was like, if your phone cuts out, if the Wi-Fi, keep going. Like keep rolling, because there are parts where, like, I think the one guy's reception got blurry, but that's what happens on Zoom. So I wanted to recreate the Zoom experience, and we have a Karen that's not on the nose Karen in the office. We have all those little things. We have the guy the boss that gets up and he doesn't have pants on, but he has a suit on, and he gets up and you see his underwear because he forgets the camera's rolling. Like all those little. Everybody in the reviews said this Zoom movie is 2020 in one movie. It's everything that happened in 2020 during the pandemic in one movie. And I knew maybe it might have been too soon, but the good news is about film, it's forever, like Leonardo DiCaprio says. Film is, life's short, but film is forever. And I think it'll be appreciated probably in the next 5-10 years once this pandemic's way well away. But a lot of people watched it and got it, like okay, we can laugh at ourselves. And it was a tragic pandemic, and a lot of people unfortunately lost their lives, but we all can still come together and laugh a little bit.
Yeah, and laughter. We need something. We need people that make us smile and laugh, because it's been stressful with everything going on in the news and stuff. So that was your directorial debut. Congratulations.
And then the writer got me to do his pilot. I directed his pilot. That was cool. And now I haven't directed anything since, but I like to put it out there now. I'm starting to put it out that I can direct. And I feel like with my 18 years of producing that I'm ready to direct. And I'm ready to, I'm great with working with actors. I've produced, everybody's job on set, being a producer. I've hired everybody. So I feel like I'm groomed enough to start directing features. I know how to tell a story, and just the right opportunity, I just put it out there, and the right opportunity I think will come my way.
Yeah. So where can our audience keep up with you to find out like when your movies are coming out? Do you have social media they can follow?
So I always do my marketing on my Instagram. Justin Nesbitt on Instagram. I believe it's Justin David Nesbitt on Instagram. Or Justin D Nesbitt. I'm sorry. Justin D as in David, because my middle name's David. So Justin D Nesbitt. At Justin D Nesbitt on Instagram, and then I'm on Twitter. But I do most of my film promoting on Facebook and Instagram, so you can find me on Facebook as well under Justin D Nesbitt as well.
Oh, great! So I just want to remind everybody, Justin's film is coming out in November, so we are going to be launching this episode in November. So As Good as Dead, starring Michael Jai White, Tom Berenger, and of course our awesome actor, producer, director Justin Nesbitt, produced As Good as Dead, and that is going to be a winner. Action thriller, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah. So I just want to so anything else that you want to tell our audience before?
How much time we got left? We got a few minutes?
We got about 6 minutes, yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
You got any funny stories to tell us?
I got so many stories, and then I'll mention, like I said before, I got 1521. I don't know when that comes out, but that's Danny. I mean, who doesn't want to see Danny Trejo as Ferdinand Magellan? That one's will be coming out soon, and I'm in the middle of putting together a cast for 72 Hours, which is a thriller about two brothers that get in the one brother gets in the crypto money laundering game, and it stars Cam Gijonet. And we're just in talks with some other actors, but Cam was from the Twilight series, and I actually worked with him. My first job, second unit directing, I second unit directed him for Red Sky that Disney ended up putting out with Bill Pullman and Cam, and Mario directed it too. That was my first interaction working with Mario. That was back in 08. Yeah, funny stories. I mean, there's so many different things that happen. Man, funny stories, funny stories. Man, my brain is right. I think Indianapolis. I think the funniest story was that we all thought that we were protected by some invisible net that was going to keep us safe, and there really wasn't. There really wasn't. And then I remember, so I had to do my character gets pulled in by a shark, so I had to jump in the water. I had to keep doing flips. I was getting waterlogged. And I negotiated with the director. I said, man, I can give you one more. He goes, I just need one more good take with this angle, this lens. I said, cool. I just need one Gatorade. So I was like, you give me it, because I was so in the salt and the sun. I was so dehydrated. I was like, you fill me a Powerade, I'll give you your last take. He's like, deal, man, deal. So that was funny. Like, we're negotiating takes for Powerade and drinks.
Deal or no deal? I want to know about that.
Yeah.
That electric shark. Like, is it similar to like Jaws, or is it?
Yeah,
like...
it's funny. It takes like the team. They call them a shark team, shark robotic team. Like 5 people to run that thing. It's like they gotta put in the water. It's all done by computer and animatronics and robotics. Basically, it's like an AI robot shark, and it's a team of guys. They all had to get, imagine a production. They have to house these 6 shark team guys, and it takes like a lot of guys to run those sharks. And they did a great job. They're really nice guys, but man, those things looked real, like real. Like you were just like, is that the animatronic one, or is that a real one? Because you couldn't tell the difference. I couldn't tell. But yeah, trying to think. I was working with Rampage, and I came to set in some Crocs or something. Like I was just comfortable, and I ended up going viral on his Instagram because that whole viral thing. That, what are those? So I walk in set. I have a suit on. I'm playing a detective with a mustache. I got Crocs on, and Rampage instantly goes, "What are those?" It was funny.
Well, girls wear
and that was a viral thing
right?
back then.
Girls wear Ugg boots and guys wear Crocs, so it's all good.
Yeah, my little brother was working in China, and he sent them to me. They were like, he's like, these cost 2 cents in China. I just had to buy them and send them to everybody.
Wow.
Because for $1, he could get these like Crocs made in China. They weren't Crocs, but they looked like them. I thought they were comfortable, so I just wore them to set one day when we were rehearsing, and he's like, what are those? And that was like the whole there was a viral thing going on about, what are those? And of all people, Rampage films it. I didn't know he's filming, puts it on his Instagram, and I have all my friends saying, hey, you're on Rampage's Instagram right now. Like, he did a what are those trick on you. I was like, funny.
That's so cute. It's like filmmaking.
It was funny. I was like, what? I didn't think nothing of it. I was like, I just want to wear these comfortable shoes. I didn't know I'd be on the internet with them the next day.
Yeah, that sounds like such a valuable and memorable experience. It's almost like you're camping, except you're camping literally on the water, and with with like you had the probability that a real shark could get through, and then you got these how do you call it? Anatomic sharks? What's the word?
Robotic sharks.
Robotic sharks. Yeah, it's amazing. So many equipment and people it takes to make a film, and it helps
that
a lot of
wasn't
people
done by
get
a studio.
work.
That wasn't a studio done by a studio. Saban Films eventually released. Saban Films got in and invested in it early. I think they picked it up for distribution before it filmed, but it wasn't it wasn't like Paramount, or they had a low budget. I want to say the budget was like 10 to 15 million, which is low for a World War II period piece with sharks. So the producers had an uphill battle to make that movie. And I remember the writer, Mario even called me, like they were in post, and I ad-libbed a line. I improv the line. And they're like, wow, that was a good line. Like that, your little nosebleed line is about nosebleeds. Because they say in the scene, Matt Lanner says sharks smell blood, and my character starts getting like worried, and the guy that played Sanchez, the actor's like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, "Dude, I get nosebleeds, man," because I thought that'd be interesting. So anyway, the writer thanked me because he goes, "Hey, I get credit. You improv, and I wrote the script, so I'll give all of your writing credit." Like, cool, happy to help, man.
Yeah, well, so happy to have you on the show today, Justin Nesbitt. Do check out his film, as good as dead. Thank you so much, Justin, for coming on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for listening, and take a moment to download the podcast. And thank you so much for listening, and listen to both parts 1 and 2 with Justin Nesbitt. Thank you, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving.